Check, 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 check. All right, we got microphone checks.
You're trying to make a funny joke about a third person.
I was trying to make a funny joke, but it's just too early in the morning for funny jokes, apparently.
But like I said, I'm behind the times. So you're gonna say a joke that would have been funny like 20 years ago, and I don't understand it.
20 years ago, you'd barely be alive.
I'm 30. I was 10.
You were watching cartoons, dude, sucking your thumb, right?
Watching cartoons. I was watching Norm Abrams, and I was out building sheds and.
Wow, you guys hear that? Norm Abrams?
I was like a pretty outgoing 10-year-old.
You spent your Friday nights watching Tool Time?
No, that's not a real show. I did watch it, but it's not real. I might have to get a picture line.
I mean, it's pretty real if you watched it, right? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. As you can see, we're getting this toolbox here put together. This is something we don't do a lot of around here, but as you guys can see as well, we will do it. So if you have a custom truck, especially something we've maybe done in the past, and you're looking to do something like this, don't hesitate to reach out to us. There's lots of things we do we haven't put up on the channel yet. We just haven't had time to do all those things and film all those things yet. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna get this episode rolling. We got parts for Victor C10 finally loaded in the booth. The doors and the fenders. Dylan and Jason got everything stripped down to bare metal that needs to be epoxied. And Dylan's getting everything diligently cleaned right now.
No pun intended.
No pun intended, right? The epoxy is already made up, sitting out there ready to go. So just a few minutes from now, he's gonna suit up with his super clean paint suit that he has. And then he's gonna lay down the epoxy on this stuff. And then we'll be on to the cab, and that'll be the last major big piece, besides maybe the grill and a few other things, right, that have to be done?
I'm not 100% sure. Well, yeah, I guess we should do the grill, right?
We should probably do the grill on the outside, the cab obviously, which Jason's in the jams right now, sanding on those. That should be pretty much it. Then we can start putting it back together, and then you can start doing the body work. So we're getting there, Victor. Appreciate your patience. Really appreciate you, man. I'm gonna shut up now and let him get to work. Alrighty, so Dylan stayed late last night and got Victor's parts here that are hung up in epoxy primer. Now he's working on the cab. That'll be the last major piece we have to do before we can start getting this thing back together and starting body work. That and the grill, actually, my bad. But for you guys at home that are kind of wondering why we're taking that E-coat and stripping it off and putting epoxy primer on here, the reason being is that that E-coat isn't a guaranteed, how do I say this? We found surface rust underneath E-coat before, and when you're dealing with a high-end paint job, the best insurance is going to be to strip it down. This way we know what's underneath, we can clean it properly, and we can coat it properly before we do our body work, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen the E-coat where it does have surface rust underneath it. Now, we didn't strip certain parts that aren't visible, like the inside of the door where the door panel is going to be at, or behind the fender where we're going to be bed lining. That kind of stuff isn't as important. It's the visual stuff that we wanted to make sure holds up and we don't have any issues with. Plus we did all the metal work along the edges and did a lot of cutting and grinding. So instead of just prepping back a small portion and only blowing the epoxy where it needs to be on the outside, we strip it all the way down just to make sure, because like I said, we've had issues before in the past. And so we just don't want to have any issues moving forward with anybody's vehicle. So if anybody had that question out there, now you know why we're doing that. And since that's done, we're going to move on to the next job. Okay, we got Larry's final piece to the puzzle that needs to be put into polyester primer in the booth here. I'm gonna go grab some towels and some waxing grease, cleaner, solvent cleaner, and show you guys how many times it takes just to clean this tailgate to get it ready for polyester primer. Reason being is I can't stress enough. Clean, clean, clean. And when you think it's clean enough, clean it one more time. You're removing contaminants, fingerprints. It doesn't matter. You don't know what's on this thing. And there could be stuff on here that maybe you didn't see happen. For instance, guy walks by and he's sweating, goes to wipe his face or something, and something splatters on it, and he didn't see it, and you didn't see it, and it doesn't get cleaned, and then it gets painted, and then all of a sudden you have issues with the paint. You start seeing little bubbles, this and that. So keeping things clean is super, super important, and definitely a step that you should never, ever skip on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab that cleaner, and then we'll get this thing cleaned up and get it primed. Okay, we're back. Let's just see how many times it takes to clean this tailgate. See that stuff? The letters. You see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. See that? This is wax and grease remover, just in a fancy bottle. Okay. Okay, so there's our first time cleaning the panel. And that is Pio, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi guys.
What's up, buddy?
I came in here to paint some stuff.
What do you need?
So this is Jared's, the guy with the Material Girl.
Okay.
He wants to know, you know, his wife passed away.
Sorry, guys. I'll be right with you.
Be right with you guys.
Yeah, I heard.
So he said, this is off his wife's car.
Okay.
It's their last name. He said, can you ask Frank if he can repaint the black and polish the chrome? I was going to put it on Material Girl.
Oh, that's
And he
cool.
was going to ask you to do it when he came, but he forgot.
So he wants me to just buff it all out and then just...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm sure I could do something like that for him. I mean, it is a Cadillac. We already know.
I mean,
We know I love Cadillacs.
Cadillac of Cadillacs.
Yep. Can you do me a favor and just put this on my, put it on my desk?
Okay.
And I'll take care of it.
All right.
What else you got in your hand there?
Oh, this is my stuff.
Okay, cool. Sorry guys, I'm back.
He's back, guys.
I'm back. So, upon cleaning this thing for the first time, I actually noticed, so metal will start to flash rust about 30 minutes or so after it's stripped to bare metal, which is why when we strip them over there in the body shop area and we got swamp coolers running, our concern isn't as much as you'd think, because when we get it over here into the actual area where it's going to get primed, we're going to thoroughly clean it multiple times, and then we're going to go around and we're going to hand sand anywhere where there's flash rust. This tailgate's a perfect example, so I will grab the camera real quick and show you what I mean, and I'll have to go through and sand all those spots. Then I'll do another initial clean, Then I'll get clean towels and I'll do a final clean, and hopefully the panel will be clean enough at that point to be ready to start mixing primer and shoot some primer on there. But there's definitely some flash rust in here, in here. See that flash rust? This camera's broken, so it's kind of tough for me to show you. But here on the E, there's flash rust here, there's flash rust here. So I'm gonna have to go through and resand all those spots. And you can see right here. That's why it's very important to make sure you clean it very, very thoroughly and you look it over. Anywhere there's bare metal, you can have potential flash rust, and most likely you will. Sometimes the red Scotch Brite will get most of it off. It's not too bad. Kind of stuff that will totally ruin a paint job. That spot's really bad right there. Alright, looks like I just about got all of it. I think what I'm going to do is take a Scotch Brite pad, a red Scotch Brite pad, and I'm going to scuff it again with the Scotch Brite pad in the cleaner, because it's a little bit finer and grab it a little bit better and not have as much of a risk of messing up the bodywork as, say, a piece of 120 grit does. But I've mostly got, I mean, I can't see any more on it, but yeah, that's definitely one thing that you should definitely be looking forward to. Just because it was put in epoxy primer doesn't mean you can't get that stuff. You can still get it, and you do still get it. So yeah, I'm going to get this cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and get it primed. Alright, so now we're going around for the second time. Sorry guys, I don't mean to drag this out and make it boring, but I do think that if you're new to the industry, as far as if you are looking to do this as a profession, I think this is something very important that you guys should be aware of. Because your paint job really is only as good as what's underneath it. Which is a lot of times, 99.9% of all the time, that if you bring something here, we are going to always recommend it being stripped bare metal. Like we talked about earlier with doing the epoxy over the E-coat. Yeah, not cleaning something is your worst nightmare in this industry. So I think it's something that should be talked about a little bit more on the channel than we do, which is why I'm talking about it now. So if there's one thing you'll remember or take from this, it'll be to clean your panels before you prime them, before you do anything to them. When I do body work, I actually pre-clean in between every single coat of filler. I blow it off, clean the dust off, and then I actually wipe it with pre-cleaner in between every single coat. And I do that because of what I stated earlier. What happens if I block this tailgate down? I got it pretty good. I go to pull my gloves off or my mask off, and some sweat, because it's 120 degrees here in Arizona, some sweat flies out of my glove, lands on the tailgate, but I don't see it because I'm on my way to the bathroom. Come back and I'm like, okay, put another coat on there. And I had smeared body filler over sweat drips, or somebody walks by and sneezes, or some customer comes in the back door that I don't see. They're like, oh, this looks really good, and they touch it with their bare hands. There's failures waiting to happen right there. So, and look how dirty. So, that is why I stress to the guys, clean, clean, clean. Speaking of sweat. Yeah, look at all that. Look at all that stuff that came off of there. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. So I realize we sanded once, but now we're on our third round of cleaning this panel. Third time. See that? Some of you guys might think you wipe the panel down one time and it's good. Well, now you see it's not. That is why I'm dragging this video out. Like I said, I'm sorry guys, but I think the only way to show you guys is in real time without any editing in between. I mean, can't make this up. Okay. I think I want to do it one more time. This should be the final time I have to clean it. And on the final time, I definitely try to wipe the entire panel, not just small spots, because sometimes you can kind of move contaminants and grease and stuff like that around. So for you guys out there that were already thinking that he's not cleaning it right, because I know there's some guys out there that are probably thinking that, but even look at that. Still got stuff on there. Call it anal, call it whatever you want. But when a customer is paying for quality work, you got to do your best to give them a quality job. And that's the one thing that I am super anal about. Very, very appreciative of every customer we have that walks through these doors. And the last thing I ever want to do is not do our very best. I'm not saying that we are the best, because I think that's a big title to fill, and I don't really think there's such thing as the best, but what I can promise you is a few things. Number one, if it won't go on my car, it'll never go on yours. And number two is we're going to do our very best that we possibly can do every single time. Period. Because that's the only way. I'd agree, I think it looks pretty clean. A little bit right there. So, looks like we got a clean spot here. I'm gonna tack it one more time just because I don't want you guys to call me out at home. And all the flash rust is gone. Nice and clean. Look at that, nice and clean and ready to go. So you saw how much time it took just to prepare this panel for primer. Imagine a whole truck, not to mention masking it up and everything else we have to do to get it prepped and ready to actually prime it. But this gives you an idea of how clean they really should be if you're trying to do everything you possibly can to prevent anything, to prevent anything from failure down the road. Of course, there's always a ton of variables, but doing your very best excuse me, doing your very best every time is really what it takes in this industry to produce stuff that is hopefully going to last for a very, very long time. All right, my ramble session's over. I'm going to go mix up some primer. Lucky you, I'm going to take you with me. All right, we've already ran this sucker once. We'll run it one more time. I'm going to be using the Evercoat 4-to-1 Super Build. All right, I'm back. Time to get this stuff primed. Almost forgot about the over 40 club. All right, got her all primed up, flashing over. As soon as this is dry enough to get out of here, we'll be preparing the booth for the next thing coming in, which hopefully will be later on today, Victor's cab. We'll see. So this is the kind of stuff that I really, really enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be a six-figure truck. It could be something as priceless as this license plate to Jared. So recently, unfortunately, Jared's wife passed away. This was a plate, I guess, that she had on her car. He is the one who purchased Material Girl from Jeremy, which is a truck that we did here a few years back. So they asked me to repaint the black and polish it out for them real quick. So just figured I'd just show you guys. Like, not a big deal for most people, but for him, this is probably everything, as I'm sure she meant everything to him. And that's just the kind of thing that's what inspires me in the industry, is when you get to work on somebody's car, license plate, or anything in between that has that type of sentimental value to them. It's just really touching, to me anyway. So I'm gonna knock this out for him, free of charge, of course. It is small, it won't break the bank, and get it back over to the guys as soon as possible over at Tray 5. Look at that, guys. All the paint supplies for my dually have arrived. 3 gallons of clear, 2 colors, nothing crazy, something very subtle, very soft, easy for me to maintain, something I can drive around town and beat on. It still looks pretty cool, I think. I was at the casino with my wife, I don't know, a few months back, and I stumbled across this vehicle in the VIP area, or the valet parking area, and man, it looked killer. It had matte black wheels, and it just looked killer. So that's the color I decided to go. I haven't been able to get out of my mind. There's been lots of colors I have discussed and talked about and thought about, and like I said before, being a painter, I like all colors, I really do. But I really wanted to do something different than what I normally do, which is what I normally do, right? I'm always doing something different, something that I guess some people may or may not be scared to do or try, others may or may not like, and I could give 2 shits. It's all about me, just like it should be all about you. Whatever you want to do on your car, you're paying for it. Whatever I want to do on mine. So what I chose to do is something that I think is going to look cool. It's probably one of those less is more scenarios. At least that's what I'm hoping for. That it's going to pop. So I'm excited to get some stuff painted for this thing. At some point, I'm sure you guys will see the color, because I'm not going to be able to hold it back. So until then, this stuff can sit over here and I can stare at it until I'm ready to shoot something, which actually I am ready to shoot something. I've got all the interior pieces prepped and ready to be painted. I just don't want to paint them yet because I don't want them sitting around and getting damaged. So maybe next week, the week after, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll wait till I get the truck back from Tray 5, because once the truck comes back from Tray 5, it'll be on the home stretch really as far as finalizing bodywork, and then I can blow the doors off of it, start jamming it out, because I really like to paint the interior stuff and then put the whole interior back together so I don't have stuff laying all over the showroom, and painted parts laying all over the showroom as well. So I guess you'll have to keep following along to the channel if you want to see it, and if you don't, you'll see it eventually. As you guys can see here, we got Victor's C10 stripped, masked, cleaned, meticulously cleaned, and ready for epoxy primer. The guys absolutely killed it this week to get this thing in here and to make this happen. I'm super pumped, and I can't wait to see this thing in epoxy primer. So we're gonna go out here right now. Dylan's gonna get everything mixed up and come back in and lay it down. All right, that's gonna do it for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out our website, www.ikpaintworks.com, and we'll see you guys next week on the next video.